I've gotten a lot of heat because I posted something on Facebook that was frankly critical of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe chairman, Dave Archambault. Um, I don't know him. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I interviewed him once, and you hear a lot of rumors that go around. I'm not going to engage in rumors. As a journalist, I'm not going to allege things unless I have hard proof and evidence. Doesn't mean I'm not in the background trying to find hard proof and evidence of things, but you don't just willy nilly go charging people with things. So, as far as I know, Dave Archambault is the chairman of Standing Rock Sioux tribe and has the best intentions, and isn't involved in anything you know corrupt, so to speak. But he did make comments in an interview that I found fairly very troubling. And I think, this isn't me just reporting it. I'm giving you my opinion, obviously. But as a leader of the tribe, I find it troubling. And yeah, I'm getting a little heat for pointing this out. As I said yesterday, obviously the main focus is the pipeline. I'm not bringing this up because I want to really get into like intertribal conflict or any of that stuff. The main focus should be the pipeline, not the chairman. But since his comments are really about the pipeline, I feel I should let you know about them as well as give you my thoughts. So he did an interview. I believe it's called the Rock Report. It's the Rock Report. Look it up. So he did an interview with them, and he was touching on the current point we're at, whether he thinks water protectors need to leave, all these things. And pretty early on in the interview, he said, quote, "This pipeline is not going to kill our nation. This is not going to be detrimental to our nation." And I was a little blown away by that because, none of us are God. None of us could see the future. But, oil pipeline spills, they do kill. I mean, whether it's making people sick. We've seen that all over the country due to oil spills. If you drink contaminated water, killing animals, killing wildlife, really killing land, killing water sources. It does kill. So the comment that this pipeline is not going to kill our nation, this is not going to be detrimental to our nation. Uh, I don't I don't know what that's based on. The journalist who interviewed him didn't really follow up with him, but obviously, is it going to kill everyone? I mean, no. But is there risk, life and death, if you drink from contaminated water, or you bathe in contaminated water, or your animals are in contaminated water? Of course there is. So it seemed like a very stark departure. I saw him on MSNBC like about a week ago, and he was saying all the right notes. That he was saying, Trump is invested in this pipeline, and really strongly coming out against the pipeline on national media. So I really don't understand. This is not going to kill our nation. It just benefited the doubt to him. Maybe he's trying to say, like, yeah, listen, there will be fights after this. Our nation won't live or die based on just this pipeline. But the way he said it kind of came off like, it's not the end of the world, this pipeline. And, in my reporting, not just on this, but other pipelines, I could tell you, I mean, this is a very, very serious threat to people's lives, people's land, not just the Native Americans, but an estimated between 18 million and 20 million people downstream. So to say it's not going to kill our nation really is a misunderstanding of what's at stake here, in my view. And you might be asking me, Jordan, I agree with your opinion, but why don't you interview him? Straight up, I've called him twice. I haven't gotten a response. So I'm not trying to challenge the chairman's motives or anything like that. Again, if you don't have proof, you don't allege things. In my view, we're not Fox News here. But I've asked him, I've called him, I've left messages that I'd like to speak with him to get clarity on this and other things, and I have not gotten a response. So that's all I can tell you, the truth. I'm not trying to divide. I'm not trying to do anything, but it's my job to report to you, and I can't just cherry pick what I want to report. I can't look the other way if the chairman of the tribe is saying things that really don't come off like in the best interest of this fight against the Dakota Access Pipeline. He also said, quote, "The fight is not here. It doesn't have to be here. We could fight this in Washington." There's a few things about that statement. Number one, of course, the fight should also be in Washington. But if you look at the history of the United States, Washington, D.C. is not exactly, ruled in favor of Native American tribes before. Maybe you could look at isolated cases here or there, but the government in Washington, D.C. has not been a friend to Native tribes, not just here, but everywhere. So to say the fight is not here, it's in Washington, D.C., I think is a little naive, to tell you the truth. The fight needs to be everywhere, not just about Dakota Access Pipeline, but all the pipelines that Trump, the federal government, Republicans, as well as state governments like North Dakota. I've reported in recent days about them trying to seize control of native reservations here, which is just a ploy to drill on their land. That's all it is. They're using flowery language to try to help the natives. They don't give a damn about the Native Americans. They want the oil under their land. So to say the fight's not here, it's in Washington, I think that's a dangerous comment. Now, I am not the chairman, and I'm not a government official. So, of course, there's things that they are facing that we don't know about, right? So it's easy to be a journalist or, a Twitter commenter saying nasty things about people. I'm sure there's elements we don't know about, and that's why I want to interview him. But, when you make comments like that, and he's also been trying to get water protectors to leave, you're basically making the land, or trying to make the land, vulnerable to them drilling. I mean, if you clear out water protectors from this area, there's really no opposition to them drilling. And it's very possible within the next week, 2 weeks, maybe days, that Donald Trump, the Army Corps of Engineers, approve a permit for this pipeline. The tribe might file an injunction to get it to stop, but who knows if a judge is going to approve, immediately rule on that. So it's very likely the oil company could drill rather quickly without something stopping that. So by him making these comments, the fight's no longer here. Obviously, there's been statements that he wants people to leave. It really, to me, doesn't make a lot of sense, just common sense wise. Again, I'm not a member of the tribe. I'm a journalist, but I'm giving you my opinion because I think it's important what he's saying. And I also think that, granted, if you have not been here, if you don't know the dynamic, the tribe has really been hit hard economically by the blockade on Highway 1806. So Highway 1806 is the main highway here. It's right above the camp. And there's been a military route, but also just normal traffic can't get through. It's hit where I am right now. Where we stay is a hotel, but it's also a casino, and the tribe owns it. So they've been hit pretty hard. And I might get some hate for even bringing this up or making it public, but it's my job to report the truth. I can't selectively choose what I want to report or not. You deserve to know what's going on. So they have been hit. Economically. Frankly, it's an economic sanction. So they've suffered here and other areas. And I'm sure, again, without speaking to him, I'm sure that there is fears of getting federal aid from the federal government pulled now that Trump is president, if these demonstrations and the water protectors continue. So there might be things we don't know about, and benefit of the doubt to him, it's not an easy position to make these decisions. However, in my view, here's what's going to happen. If you clear out these camps, particularly the main Ocheti-Sacoan camp, which is pretty close to where the drill pad is, I think they're going to put a much larger blockade in, probably from where we are now in the hotel to the camp, where nobody could get through, including people from Sacred Stone Camp, and then the approval for the permit will go through, and they will drill, and there will be no one allowed in or out of that area within miles. So, of course, there are flood concerns in the main Ocheti-Sacoan camp. I was just there 2 days ago. I'm not there today because I have to go through a lot of emails and stuff like that. But it's already, you could see, walking around, there's giant puddles. I mean, there is a flood risk. But instead of telling people just get out, leave, if the tribe wants water protectors to stay and continue non-violently fighting this pipeline, there are other areas you could be putting water protectors, higher ground, things like that. So, there are questions that need to be answered from the chairman. I've been trying to get a hold of him. I just haven't gotten a response. Maybe benefit of the doubt, maybe he's busy. So this isn't me attacking him, but you should know. I mean, I posted on my Facebook the link to the interview. Some of the comments were just either, in my view, troubling, but also just not understanding the gravity. He also suggested this isn't the only pipeline going on in America. There's pipelines everywhere, this and that. But I think that, for better or worse, this is the pipeline that has captured the world's attention, not just Americans. There are people that come to North Dakota from all across the world that are fighting. So, yeah, there's other pipeline fights, and I've covered the one in Texas. At some point, I want to go down to the one in Florida. I'm only one person. I can't be everywhere. But, you have movement here. You have energy. You have people willing to come. You have people willing to donate. You have people who have given up their lives in that camp, their jobs, their homes. I know many of them. So I think that this pipeline fight is a little different than other pipeline fights. It's not to say that there won't be other pipeline fights that capture the country or the world, but right now this is where it's at. As I always say, Standing Rock is ground zero for the fight between greed and humanity. Now, bottom line, I'm not going to just tell you what you want to hear. It looks likely that the pipeline will go through. I'm not going to bullshit you. There are forces much stronger sometimes than prayer, in my view. But that doesn't mean you just, wave the white flag. Whoever said it, it ain't over till it's over, right? So, I think, again, I'm not trying to air dirty laundry. I'm not trying to divide people, but the audience deserves to know what these comments are and what my thoughts are on it. Again, I am, as much as I can, you really don't know until you're here and trying to report, like, the amount of text messages I get, messages, this and that. I mean, everybody and their mother is messaging me. I don't say that because I'm so great. I'm just giving you a picture. I'm very busy all the time, so it's very hard for me to dig into specific things, but I'm trying my best. So that's the deal with the chairman and his comments. I encourage you to watch the interview. You decide what you think.